On today's episode, I'm gonna play Destiny. I know it's my destiny. Welcome to the show. I'm Larry Madavina, and today it is finally here. It's time for Destiny, the brand new super cool game by Bungie that just came out on Tuesday, and it's Destiny week, and we can all be excited and play it together because you can sort of do that when you have an online game. Now, I am super excited about this game and want to share my experiences, but I really don't have time to do a formal review. And I know a lot of times when people don't want to sit down and play the whole game, they at least, do a first 15, where they play about 15 minutes of the game and give their impression based on, well, the first 15, hence the name. But you know what, guys? I'm going to do you one better. I'm not going to stop at 15. I'm going to give all y'all's the first 90. Let's go. Crack in, slap in, and be going to the moon. Wizards everywhere. Hello, you beautiful people. My name is Larry Madavina, and it is time to do the first 90, playing into Destiny. So here we go, loading up the game for the first time. Haven't played this at all. Getting super duper schlooper excited to go ahead and start the game up. I love Bungie. Look, there's the logo. Bungie. Oh, it's so nice to see it after so long. Last time we saw it was, what? Back in Halo Reach-a-Roo? So I'm gonna go ahead and get the whole stop starper over here, and we're gonna go ahead, and as soon as I hit the button, I'm gonna start that. Boop. All right, let's see. What is going to be the first 90 for this? Okay, I need to agree to a software agreement. Okay, say out of that, and then I'm gonna wait. And there's a little bit of loading, and oh, they're installing. What do we need to megabyte? 1.34, that's all it is? 1.343 Guilty Spark, am I right, guys? Yeah, I am. Got the star map, gotten everything. Look at the next gen graphics on that. Is looking beautiful. Mwah, mwah. Love it. Another load screen. Got a nice little dingle in the corner. I like corner. Yeah, that's right. I said the word corner. Yeah, the little dingle. I like it. It's nice. Oh, I gotta set to how big the star screen is. Wait. Oh, there we go. Go. Got it. Are these supposed to be visible? Yes. Set them. We got it. Oh, I gotta adjust the brightness. And oh goodness. Oh, here we go. So barely visible. Barely. That looks good. That looks barely visible. I want my language be default. Subtitles. Yeah, I want subtitles enabled. And let's see what we're getting into. We got another loading screen. Got a little dingle dangle jingle jangle over here in the corner again. And it is making me feel real good. And now it is time for me to choose my... Oh! Well, looks like that's our 90 seconds right there, so I'm going to go ahead and call it there. I think I got enough of the game to kind of give my first impressions, so I'll see you on the other side. Become legend, bros. Become legend. Holy crap! That was amazing! Did you see how I got in an intense legal battle with Bungie and I had to possibly sign my life away, and then I hit the A button and then I did it and then let me play? That was intense! And then I continued on and it just got even more nuts! Or what about when I had all those megabytes to install, all 1.34 of them, before it was like the game was just teasing me, like, you're ready to play the game. Wait, no you're not! You need to wait still, and then you have to, when you're done with your waiting, then you can play the game, and then maybe it's behind here, and you hit the button again. But then it's not the game, it's the awesome, we give you the star map, and the blue stretching the screen, and then, I don't even know. And I mean, look at the load screens, the art style that's thrown into them. They have this elegantly designed little dangly in the corner, but they put it in the corner. It's not covering the entire screen. And what's on the rest of the screen is just black. It's like Bungie's deciding to be minimalist and just take their artistic integrity and do something crazy with this game. You're not getting the game in the entire 1080 by 1920 backwards. You're just getting it in this little teeny tiny corner. It's like the future of video games by going into the past and giving us tiny screens. And the controls, they are as smooth as butter. Look at how elegantly and effortlessly I was able to adjust the aspect ratio of the screen. And then I was able to adjust the brightness. Destiny's just giving me so much agency over the world. They're giving me the ability to put on subtitles right from the beginning of the game. It is like they are giving me the power to be God, deciding on exactly how the screen looks and how bright it is. And if there's floating letters on the bottom of the screen, like in the episode of Fringe, except all the letters fall down to the bottom because they're subtitles. What kind of agency is this? Oh, it's so good. It's so good. And with this much agency already, how much more could the game give me? Perhaps maybe I can control the voices of the characters, the sound effects, and the music all individually from each other. Or perhaps I'll have difficulty options. Or maybe I'll be able to show how much blood is on screen. Or maybe I'll have the option to toggle a thing to have me have a censor bar over all the swearing. I mean, I know that I'm ready for some swearing, and I'm gonna keep that off all day. But you know what? Maybe I just like the option to put some swears on or have the bleepy bloop on there instead. And so what are my final thoughts after playing the first 90 of Destiny? This game is amazing! It's like an 8 billion out of 10. I could just go down to the store and buy like 8 copies right now. You need to go and get it now. And don't just stop at Best Buy or Walmart if you think that's the closest. If the closest store is Kroger, go to Kroger, go inside and pester everybody until they finally sell you Destiny. And you know what? You'll either get it or you'll get thrown out. Maybe someone in jail's got Destiny, I don't know. And that is all the time we have left for today. Has your first 90 with Destiny been as amazingly crazy as mine has? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure to come back next week for even more awesome sort of reviews here on Game Gush. It was a joke. The whole thing was a stupid joke. It was a big old joke. The whole thing was a joke. See, I never wanted to ever play Destiny for an hour and a half for the show. So I did not play the game for that long. I didn't play the Destiny for that long. Boop, boop, boop. Hey, it's me. So I'm going to, as you can tell, there's sort of nothing here besides my voice talking to you. And hopefully this goes okay. Unfortunately, this was the second time that I'm doing this. I sort of ran into some technical difficulties, and which made me kind of mad. I made it about halfway through my intended sort of this like extra, I guess for lack of a better term, you call it the Larry cast. And I ran into like a lot of technical problems, and basically my microphone was cutting in and out, and I wasn't sure why, and I was afraid that perhaps either my audio equipment was going bad or something. I just like decided to take a breather because it made me really angry, and try it again to see if it would work this time. Hopefully, I mean, so far it is. I'm checking it like a hawk. But it is doing okay. I also changed the batteries. They were kind of low. And I was wondering if maybe it was some weird thing where with the batteries being low and close to dead, that it was maybe doing some weird thing. And hopefully everything will be okay now. So let's get back into it. Basically, what this whole entire thing is when I had the idea for this episode, I went to Adam, and Adam, of course, being like the silent second player of now joining the channel, he helps me, he edits like half the episodes, and he shoots it, and so I kind of just wanted to bounce this idea off of him, and I was like, so obviously I can't review Destiny, but I want to talk about Destiny, because Destiny's a big game this week, and I'm going to buy it, I'm going to play it, and so I have this idea, and I know that there are people who will do like a first 15 or a first 60, where they'll sort of play the game for a little bit, and they'll give their impressions on the game based on this little bit of time that they played. And I was like, what if we do something where I make it seem like, oh, we're going to do the first 90, so I'm going to give like 90 minutes of gameplay and kind of give my thoughts on that. And what if the whole thing, in typical Game Gush fashion, is like a big ruse, and I really actually only play the game for like 60 or for 90 seconds? And he's like, that's a great idea. Yes, go ahead and do it. I think it's funny. To really sell the joke, we should make sure that the episode itself is like 90 minutes long. And so he originally, actually, he was going to edit this episode. I ended up editing the episode. But he said that what we really should do was that And he said he was going to basically take like, cut the episode, and then it would be like, I guess probably close to like 85 minutes of just black space. And at the very end, he'd put like a troll face or just a little something at the very, very end. Just to kind of, so that's like padded out. And it's this whole thing where like, it seems like we're doing this feature length episode of Game Gush, and really we're not. We're just doing a normal episode. And the gimmick was, you saw the gimmick, you watched the episode. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I like the idea of doing the 90-minute episode, but I want to do you one better. And I don't want to just do the episode and sort of, just have all this black space, because it's a waste of time. It's a waste of my time. It's a waste of the people's who are watching. It's a waste of your time. And so I did want to just decide to add, to give a little bit of a bonus to anybody who is crazy enough to actually listen to the entirety of this. Because let me tell you, you're in for a treat. We are about 4 minutes in, and I'm planning on going for about 85 minutes. and this is 85 minutes after I already talked for about 45 before, and can't use any of it. So I have no idea how this is going to go. I'm just going to kind of ramble and see if there's anything coherently good that comes out of any of this. And whether it's good or not, as long as it's technically sound and I don't have any more audio problems, it will go on the end of the episode. So me talking right now, you're going to be actually hearing all of this, and most likely you won't, because Game Gush, unfortunately, still we're a bully for us. We have 164 subscribers at the time of me recording this, and I would say on a typical basis that Game Gush gets maybe about 50 to 100 views. That's typically what it's been. So, and of those, I noticed that a vast majority of people who watch the show, even if they watch the show all the way, as soon as it hits that thing with like the related videos and the subscribe button, and I'm like, and that's all the time we have for today. You should put it in the comments so that this video does better on search engine optimization, and you should help me out and be my friend. So, like, when I get all of that, a lot of people just shut the video off. And I know that, honestly, when I'm watching a video and it kind of gets to the call to action, that more likely than not, sometimes I even shut it off. Not my own videos, of course. I watch all of my own videos like 18 times. That's not true. I don't watch Game Gush like 18 times. But, like, I'll turn that stuff off. And so I figure that really by the time that we get into that, the people might shut it off anyway, because they're like, oh, yeah, you fooled us, and there's nothing left. But for the people that actually watch all the way through and see that there actually is something here, I do want to give you something to latch onto. So at the very, very least, if you are interested in listening to me ramble for like 85 minutes, that you have something. Because I know that at least that like a couple people probably will. Maybe not listen to the like entire thing, but we'll at least listen to a little bit for a little while. And so good job on you guys for actually sticking around like this long, and then even like better job on you guys who make it like all the way to the end. So I'm like really proud of you if you do it, or even proud of you, like I said, for making it this far in. So that's kind of the idea of this and why this came about, and we will see how it goes from here. But I figure that if I'm gonna do this, that the first thing I should touch on is my actual thoughts about Destiny. And I haven't played like a ton of Destiny yet. I've definitely probably played enough to kind of fit into this 90 minutes that I was joking about. Because I played, full disclosure and everything, I'm recording this layer cast, for lack of a better term. It's not really a podcast. I'm not inside of a pod. I'm inside of a closet. And yeah, yes, you don't have to make the OMG, LOL, Larry's in the closet jokes. Larry, yes, I'm making them. I'm in the closet for the next hour and a half, and then I'm going to come out of the closet at the end of the episode. Yeah. Ooh, I'm so funny. That's why everybody loves me. So, but yeah, it's one of those fun things of like when you have when you have no money and you are trying to do something like super independently, that like I'm literally in my closet in my apartment where like I keep all my clothes and I keep like some like boxes for the day that I move out, and I keep an old TV that's been broken for about a year. I don't know why I keep that, and like shoes, and there's also a water heater in here, uh, which actually makes it kind of hot, which makes it also kind of unpleasant. I'm never actually in the closet for this long at any one given period of time. It's usually like a few minutes. But this is the same closet where like I filmed or like did the audio for like the Kazoo stuff for the Ice Climbers video and the Kazoo stuff for the Destiny video, and recorded the voiceover for the Destiny stuff and for the Mario Kart video. That's this closet, this happy little closet that I like to hang out in all the time. Not all the time, just when I'm doing videos. Oh man, this is getting weird. Anywho, so Destiny. So I played it a little bit on Tuesday night. Yeah, Tuesday night, and I played a little bit Wednesday afternoon. And Tuesday night kind of made me like really sad when I was playing it, because like I played it for a little bit, not a whole ton, and I played like the introductory mission, and I think like the mission after that, and then I like called it quits because I just wanted to play a little bit and then go to bed, or do something else. And the whole thing about it was that it was at the very beginning of the game, feeling to me like a second-rate Borderlands, which is not at all what I wanted Destiny to be. I wanted Destiny to be this like great, marvelous game, to be like the next big thing that Bungie's doing, because Bungie made Halo, and Halo, I really love Halo. Like I'm not a Call of Duty fan. I'm not into like the military shooter, the modern warfare, Battlefield. No, doesn't interest me. I like Halo, and I wanted to see what Bungie could do next. What great thing could they come up with? And like I'm playing it on Xbox One because like I had an Xbox 360 first, and I had an Xbox One on launch day because there eventually will be Halo, and I want to play like Halo 5. I want to play Master Chief Collection. Master Chief Collection is looking so good. Like Halo 2, the cutscenes for that game, the remastered cutscenes look great and marvelous, and I want to watch them all. I can't wait to play them all. And Master Chief Collection is such a good idea. Anywho, I digress. Halo has always been the big thing for me, and it's like, yes, I do want to play all the Naughty Dog games. I want to play all the Naughty Dog games. I have a PS3. I don't play it much. I do have Last of Us. I haven't played it yet. I got it for like $15 on sale, and it is on the backlog of things that I really need to play. Haven't played Uncharted, and it's like, yeah, there are going to be things on PlayStation eventually, like a PS4, that I will want to play if PS4 gets down, into like years down the line, when it's like, oh, here's the console and like 2 games for $200. But right now it's Xbox One is where I'm doing stuff, also Wii U, because, I'm a huge Nintendo fanboy. I don't think that is a surprise to anybody. So yeah, but anyway, I started Destiny, and I played a couple missions, and it just felt like kind of like a second rate Borderlands. And I mean, there's a lot of comparisons you can make. It's a first person shooter. It's also an RPG. When you shoot people, like numbers come out of their heads. The world is like, it's not like linear progression. It's sort of open world-ish. They definitely tend to way more than Borderlands, because Borderlands is like a complete like world that you get to explore, and Destiny feels more like they have like these like a bigger world, but it's in much more segmented chunks. And I do like that, because it's not just like linear first person shooter, and like, but it gives you like these bite-sized pieces to where you don't feel like you have to play for like 2 or 3 hours at a time if you don't want to. You can do like a story mission, you can jump in, you're done in like 20 25 minutes. They've taken me a little bit longer. The ones I've played I've done on hard mode, and so playing by myself, that tends to take a little bit longer, and also just trying to explore and that kind of stuff. And I've very much enjoyed that so far. But I guess like the the gameplay didn't feel super fun to me at very first. The guns felt a little bit lackluster, and that's all I could really do was shoot. And I realized that when I was done that I wasn't exactly giving it a fair shake, because the reason that Borderlands is fun is like Borderlands isn't necessarily like fun in the first few levels. It's Borderlands gets awesome once you have like a sniper rifle that can shoot acid and like a shotgun that can, I don't use shotguns in Borderlands, but like a submachine gun that can shoot like electricity, and like a burst rifle that shoots fire, and, you know, like elemental stuff. And like that's where the cool things are once you get your class power, and you can like drop turrets and do like sneaky stealth stuff, or just like run around like a freaking like monster if you're Krieg. Krieg is so cool in Borderlands. And it's like once you're unlocking your like class skills and then your like augmentations to make those skills better, and then get to do like really cool things. And that is when Borderlands gets cool. So I was like, Destiny will probably get cool and like get really cool eventually. I don't feel like it's there like quite yet. So when I was playing yesterday, I started to get the first glimpses of that, in where I think the Destiny really will shine. And the first thing that happened was I got as like one of my secondary weapons, I got this rifle that you charge it, and then it shoots out like electric beam. And this immediately, like the first time I used it, I like got really giddy and like giggled. And because there's something that's like, that's really fun in that like very gamey sort of way about getting to take a gun and like charge it up and fire, and just like watch as your enemies like disintegrate and into like a cloud of like electric and like and like that was so cool. It was so much fun. I loved it. I loved playing it. And that was like right there, like where it like clicked for me, and I'm like, there's gonna be cool stuff like this. Like I was in like one of the shops on the homeworld, and I saw that like one of the vendors had a gun that I was underleveled and couldn't use, but that it like fires fire bullets. And like I want that kind of stuff. I want the elemental stuff, because that's where the game is gonna get really cool. And I'm noticing now, because like I haven't played a ton. I'm not like level 1,000,000. I haven't beaten the story. I haven't heard Paul McCartney sing his Destiny song. But I am like level 5 or 6. I think I'm 5. And so now I have like my class ability. So I'm playing as a warlock. And I chose warlock mainly because the other two names were like really boring, and like also because I was a warlock back in the days of World of Warcraft when I used to play that, which we won't get into much, but just like warlocks are cool because they use like dark magic, and they do like a lot of area of effect stuff typically. And it sounded something really cool where it said like the warlock gets the opportunity to throw an explosion of magic that anybody caught inside will face their doom. And that sounded awesome to me. And you know what? It was totally awesome. Like, I thought it was kind of cool when I got this, like, void grenade that, like, I throw it out, and it sort of, like, is, like, this cloud or does damage. But, like, the class ability, this thing, like, supercharge, is, like, really cool. Like, where it goes into, like, third person for a second, and the warlock kind of, like, throws out this thing, and it's like, and then, like, it hits, and like it's like an explosion, and like anybody caught in it, like any like lower level enemies, just like freaking just boosh, disintegrate, and they're gone. And I was like, yes, this is where the game gets good. This is where it's so cool, and like this is where it makes me feel awesome to be the guy that I'm playing as. And so like, yeah, this game is getting really cool, and I'm excited to see what kind of like cool stuff I'll get to do from here. Other things I can say about Destiny is like I love the atmosphere, and that was always something like I thought was really good about Halo. Was like Halo did a really cool job at like building worlds, and Halo did a cool job at like sort of immersing you into where you were, and they like tried to get like horror with like the flood, but you know, I mean, like the first Halo especially, where you're on like you're outside and you're in like winter, like this like frosty giant battlefield like covered in snow, and you're inside and it's a ship and it's whatever, like Pillar of Autumn's, Pillar of Autumn's But I mean like Halo, or like the level Halo, like Silent Cartographer, it's like you're on beaches, you're on like, grasslands, you're on like water. It's like, oh man, the game, Assault in the Control Room, you're underground. Uh, oh man, the first Halo, like that campaign is so good. Um, and there's a very specific moment in Destiny that like was like, yes, Bungie, you're great at creating atmosphere, and I love this. And I was doing the, like, I think it was like the second or third mission on Earth in old Russia, and I'm going through this area, and like they're very good at like having stuff because it's old and decrepit, and like things are very devoid of light. And unlike Master Chief, it's like you don't have a flashlight. Your flashlight is entirely designated by Ghost, the little Peter Dinklage head that floats around and like does stuff for you. And so like Ghost decides when you need your flashlight. But I'm like going through this like murky area, and I'm like fighting some enemies, and all of a sudden I see this like giant shadow of something that like appears in front of me, and I kind of like, I didn't jump and I didn't get scared necessarily, but it did like freak me out for like half a second, where I'm like, whoa, I don't want to fight that looks like large and intimidating. And that's when I realized that huge shadow was me, that with the way that this thing was like so poorly lit, that there was like this like one light behind me, that when I went by this like cylinder pillar, the light cast a shadow onto the pillar that made like, that was me, but like giant. And I thought that kind of stuff was like super, super cool. Like, I love it because if you're able to use me to kind of make me feel uneasy in a situation, like that's good. That is good. Like, aesthetically, that's great. I love that. It was top notch, absolutely wonderful. I want more of that, and I hope that Destiny is going to give me like way more of that. And one other thing I thought was cool is I really like this mechanic of, and I don't know if like all the character classes have this. The Warlock does for sure, but the Warlock has this glide ability, and the glide, it's like, it's not exactly a double jump, but it sort of is. It's, you jump and then you hit A again, and depending on your situation, it's either like you may like slowly glide down, or you may sort of get like a jet boost that like slowly raises you even higher before then you glide down. And I hope that if all the classes have it, that they could like do really cool stuff with this. Because I was in a mission, and it was the first time that I had to fight a wizard. Oh, wizard, oh, casting spooky magic. And so, again, I've been playing these missions when they allow me to on hard mode. And so, like, things are a little bit more challenging, and so it makes you kind of play a game a little bit more where you're not, like, running and gunning in, where you're being more cautious and you're staying back and you're kind of firing from longer ranges and trying to find cover. And so, this wizard was in, like, the other room with all of his like buddy bad guys, and I was like trying to clear out some of the bad guys before I like went in there to really take care of the wizard, because I didn't want to just get like totally ganked and then die, because it's also like this like cool thing where, I mean, it's basically like a checkpoint thing where it's like, oh no, you can't respawn in like the MMO sort of way. You need to go back to like previous checkpoint. And I was able to use, like, I was in this room and there was like the doorway, and I was able to use the glide ability to sort of like glide up above the door and sort of use the top of the door as temporary cover to try to get out of harm's way. And I thought that was just like the coolest thing. Like, I've never done anything like that in a game before, where it's like I've been able to hide above a door. So I hope that if they've like fully thought about this mechanic, that maybe there's like other cool stuff that I can get to do like that in the future. But I mean, I can't say for sure. I haven't actually like played, too far into it yet. Um, but it made me excited about what could possibly come. Definitely something that didn't make me excited was that I went into this like mission and it wasn't labeled as a story mission, and it wasn't like one of those like strike missions, which are like, I guess, more of like the instancy things. I don't know. I haven't like totally played, but like I got in, and Ghost, Mr. Dinklage, is just like, in this mission we can travel wherever we want, and so like he sort of guides me to beacons, and the beacons have like missions in them, but the missions are like, oh, I need this many things dropped from this monster, so go kill X amount of this creature, monster, man, and then pick them up. And it was like so MMO-y that like I was instantly turned off by something like that. Like, I don't want my gameplay experience padded out by having to like grind these stupid quests in the exact same places I've been, doing menial tasks like killing 10 of the same monster, or like being told that I have to go find this thing and scan it, and to do that I have to like follow the exact same path that I've already had to follow on a story mission, except at the end of it there's not like the boss character. There's just like, I go a little bit farther and there's the thing I have to scan. And that disappointed me a little bit. And unfortunately, I know that that's already going to be a thing. That, looking at other stuff online, that I know there is a lot of grinding in this game. And that is like, if you are kind of trying to take the best pieces of, like, sort of like a Borderlands, like a small party, human controlled, all of them, RPG shooter, with where you upgrade stuff and you get new gear, mixing that with sort of like the more massively multiplayer aspect of like World of Warcraft, where the world is allegedly huge, and you go into a level and there's like other players there. Like that stuff's fine to like get the interactivity in, and I kind of like the idea of where I go to like the hub world, and I'm if I'm turning in quests or buying new gear or like doing stuff with whatever, that there is this hub world where like they'll populate the world with these other people that are playing the game too, because that's really cool. That makes the world feel more alive, that there's these other human characters, other like actual real people in this world that are playing alongside you, and that in itself is really neat, and like is the good part of MMOs, and like grinding is the bad part of MMOs. So it's like, why would you bring the bad part of MMOs into your game? Like, always, if you're gonna design, and this is something I guess where if you're gonna make the comparison, Borderlands, Destiny, that like Borderlands does it really well, is that even when like Borderlands, when I'm not on a story mission and I'm doing like one of the billions of side quests that they give you in Borderlands, those missions still feel like I'm gaining something from them. That like, and a lot of it is probably humor, but it's like, it's still tangentially story related. It's giving you something more about the world. And a lot of times, even if it is like, go here and like collect 8 of this item, there's something presented, by the quest giver or the in-quest chatter that you get that is still really funny. And so you want to do it because you want to be rewarded with that humor. And yeah, with Destiny, like these little mini missions like really disappointed me because they didn't, they had already said like, these aren't story missions. These are boring. I mean, not boring missions, but they are. They weren't they weren't really all that fun. I mean, they gave me a chance to like level up a little bit and sort of like play around with my new supercharge ability that I hadn't used up until that point, because I think I had only like just gotten it on that mission. But it's like that, even especially if you're gonna make me be in the exact same area and you're basically padding out your mission, doing that kind of stuff. Give me a reason to play those missions other than experience. And like there weren't even really like quest rewards, like no special headpieces or guns or anything. It was just like you are doing this for experience and that's it. And like story wise, it didn't even feel like there was anything really that you could grab onto there. Um, so I don't want to ramble a ton more about Destiny, but there are a couple more things I could say. Uh, First off, the I like that there's character customization, but I don't like that they sort of only did it halfway. Uh, I do understand that with Destiny, because you're a spaceman or a spacewoman or a space robot, uh, and like all of that, you have like all this armor on, and so like they don't give you crazy amounts of customization. It's mainly in the face for when you're on the hub planet and you have your helmet off and you're running around and there's cutscenes there or whatever, to kind of give you at least a little bit of something. But like you can't, you can control like your skin color. There's sort of like some default face sets to choose from, and there's some hair options and like face tattoo tribal paint options. And I guess what really bothered me was that, like, I started to do this and I made like a female human, because most of the time, like if I'm in an RPG, I tend to play as female characters. Um, Part of that may be because I don't feel like there's enough female characters in games, and so when I get an opportunity to play one, I play as one, except for in Pokemon. And I don't know why it is, but there's some reason when I'm playing Pokemon, gotta be a dude, and I gotta name him me. Like, I gotta name it Larry, and like the Pokemon trainer is me. Like in other RPGs, like I didn't get a chance to name my character in Destiny. If I were to play a second character, probably a dude, probably would name him Larry if I even had the opportunity to like name a character. But like I didn't have a chance to name like my mysterious female character. But like I was doing what I could to like make her like my space albino, and so she's got like red eyes and really pale skin and like snow white hair. And so like that was fun. So I'm like running around space, and there's this little bit of backstory that I'm giving myself of just like I'm a space albino, and so it's completely useless, but adds a little bit of something for me, because basically like the characters in Destiny are just so like your playable human character. And I'm assuming that they're going with that route where it's like they want the immersion to be like, they don't want to portray a character. They want you to reflect yourself onto the character so that you really feel like you're the one doing all the heroic stuff. And that's fine. That's one way of going about designing your protagonist in a video game. And it's not one that I necessarily grab onto. I like my characters to have character to them. And so yeah, it's kind of disappointing that my space albino has no character besides she's a space albino. But the one thing that really bothered me was that, they let us choose hair options. And like I was choosing hair that looked good. And then I was like, I think this one looks good. I'm just going to rotate the character to see if I like it from the back. And Destiny didn't give me the option to rotate the character model on the customization screen, which really bothered me, because I just like, what if I didn't want to use like that hair because it looked dumb in the back? But I'm like, nah, it looks fine. Whatever, they won't let me rotate it. That's whatever. And so I get into the game, and the first time I'm in like the hub world, which they do a weird thing with the hub world where it's like In the main game, you're in first person, but when you're in like the safe town, you're in third person. And so when I'm running around in third person with my helmet off, I look and I'm like, my hair looks really, really stupid from the back. And now I'm mad at the game because I didn't know that the hair was dumb. And I wanted to choose like a good hairstyle for my space albino. I don't want her to like be known in the galaxy as the savior with the terrible hair. Like, I want her to be known as like the awesome, the awesome girl who's kicking butt and like has good hair. It's stupid. It's really dumb, and like most of the game you're in first person anyway. But like I just want good hair. And I don't think that's too much to ask. Like why could Destiny not go the extra like the inch to just give me the option to rotate the character model on the customization screen? That literally, I don't know much about game design. I can assume that could not be too hard to do, because every single time I've been on a character customization screen, especially where you get to choose hair, I can rotate that model around and I can see if I like the hair from the back. Even the Xbox like avatars can do that. Like, that's not even a game. That's a dude. That's a like rip off of Nintendo Me. It made by Rare, unfortunately, because Microsoft doesn't know what to do with them, and like even they can get that right. And here's Bungie, like a studio that was making like these top-notch AAA games with Microsoft for a decade. And now that they're doing something new, like they can't even let me look at the back of my head. And that makes me like unproportionally really sad. And like I know that there's like better things in my life that I could be focusing on. And I could be going on and on about like the state of affairs in the world and how awful this is or that is, and what is possibly a problem of life. And that's what I could be using like this 85 minutes speaking to you for, that like nobody's gonna listen to. But maybe like one person might be like, yeah, there really are problems in the world. Like there really is something that I can latch onto from what Larry's saying and try to make the world a better place. But instead, I'm complaining about my Destiny character who has bad hair. Like that's what I'm spending my time on, and I don't know if that's a problem with me or not. Like maybe that's okay. Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe I am free to feel this way about about Destiny. That I don't need to, that entertainment, video games, comedy on the internet, if you want to call this comedy, it's not really. I mean, it's me pooping into a mic for 90 minutes. Nobody listened to it. I don't know. I mean, I guess there might be a joke in here that you might latch onto and be like, ha ha ha, Larry's a funny guy, I like him. At least maybe like the first 4 minutes of this video that were actually like scripted. Maybe that's funny. But like maybe escapism's okay, and like maybe it's okay for me to talk this long about Destiny making me sad because I can't change my hair. Maybe I can. There's a thing, like, please tell me if I'm like dumb and there's a way for me to change my hairstyle in game, because I mean, hair, you can change it. Like a lot of games with character customization won't let you change like your physical appearance, but will let you change your hairstyle. So if I can in fact change my hair, please let me know, and I will change it, because I do not like that hairstyle, and I'll sit there all day, figuring out what hair I want, and it'll be wonderful, and I'll be in love with life again, because my problems will be solved. The other thing about Destiny that I really do want to talk about is Peter Dinklage. And there has been a lot of stuff going on online about Peter Dinklage and how people are just so horribly upset that Peter Dinklage could possibly be giving such a bad performance in this game. And so here's the thing about Peter Dinklage is that, like, I don't necessarily think that he's giving a bad performance, and if he is, it's really more down to, like, bad direction than anything. Um, and that's that because, well, I mean, let's go ahead and make the comparison that Ghost in Destiny, your little floating buddy, is very similar in a lot of ways to 343 Guilty Spark in the Halo series, or any of those other, like, monitor characters. I think there's, like, more than Guilty Sparky. Maybe not. Well, oh well. Let's just focus on Guilty Spark because he definitely truly exists, and well, in fictional land. And Guilty Spark, the whole thing about him is that, like, he has charisma and he has, like, stuff going on, and like, especially if you listen to I believe it's the Halo Anniversary terminals are the ones that have Guilty Spark talk in a lot. And, like, you get this idea that, like, this is a character and yada yada yada. So the problem with having, like, Peter Dinklage as this, like, floating character, like, ball character with, like, a robot ball body, is that, like, it's still Peter Dinklage. And so even if, like, direction wise you do want, like, Ghost as a character to be like, less, like, a little bit more, like, I guess, flat and deadpan, and don't want as much sort of, like, charisma, or don't want as, like, to be really expressive, if that's your goal, people are going to notice that he's not very expressive because by very nature he's Peter Dinklage, and is, I mean, especially recently with Game of Thrones, has become, like, a pretty big, like, name, because, I mean, I watch Game of Thrones, and I love Tyrion Lannister. Peter Dinklage, like, he does such a great job with that character, and that character is so good, and he just, like, every time he's on screen, you're just, like, in love, because he just, like, is that character. But, like, that's the thing, is that, this potentially was not his fault if he was asked to, like, not be, like, super expressive, first off. And second off, it's like, by having Peter Dinklage, you want people then to know that it is Peter Dinklage, which means that you're probably doing less in lines in terms of, like, voice modulation to make him sound more like a robot. I mean, there's definitely some, like, voice synthesizing there to make him sound a little bit more robotic, to make it sound like it's coming out of this, like, robot ball. But it still is very distinctly Peter Dinklage. And I did have a friend who was watching me play Destiny for a little bit and, like, started to freak out because he didn't know that Peter Dinklage was in the game. And so as soon as he heard it, he was like, "That's Peter Dinklage! Oh, Peter Dinklage!" And that's, like, that's great for him because he's like, "I love Peter Dinklage. I want to listen to him all the time. I can't wait to play Destiny myself and get an Xbox One and play Destiny and be hanging out with Peter Dinklage all the time." And for me, it's one of those things that, like, is sort of breaking the immersion of, like, watching or playing the game. And that is because I know it's Peter Dinklage, and I know that a lot of people have a problem with Peter Dinklage's performance in Destiny. And so, by very nature of point A and point B, when I'm listening to Peter Dinklage, sometimes it's, like, less about paying attention to what he's actually saying and more paying attention to how he's saying it and sort of analyzing, like, do I personally think he's giving a bad performance? Do I think that this was, like, okay? And, what can I say kind of about this ongoing conversation about Peter Dinklage? Is he worth it? Like, is he doing a good job? Like, should he be here? And, really what it boils down to is that, yeah, like, having, just by the very nature that it is Peter Dinklage, is like sort of bothering me. Uh, and this happens to a lesser extent with like uh, big budget Disney Pixar animated features, is that like if you have an animated movie that like the trend is to get as much star power as possible, like, you know, you need Mike Myers to play your ogre, you need Eddie Murphy to play your donkey, you need Cameron Diaz to play your princess ogre, you need blah 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 Antonio Banderas to play your sexy cat, and like there is this idea that those actors are going to draw people to come see the film, and the thing really is that like it's an animated movie and your target audience is children. And let me tell you, when I was a child, I like didn't care that, you know, uh Tim the Toolman Taylor was Buzz Lightyear. You know, it really, I wasn't necessarily putting two together that the same guy who said to infinity and beyond like once was also the guy going ooh on Home Improvement. And you know what it, um yeah, what it really comes down to is like it doesn't it's and that like a movie, it's the only problem comes from the fact that acting is different than voice acting, and there are plenty of professionals who could do the job that Hollywood celebrities are doing in like animated feature films and probably do it better. You know, your Rob Paulsons, your Tara Strongs. I mean, heck, you know, your Mark Hamills that can go back and forth between the two, that are, you know, respected actors and respected voice actors in their own right. And like there are these people, John DiMaggio's, you know, Greta Lyles, that are very good. Tom Kenny's, of course. And these guys are like, geez, now I just want to talk about voice actors forever. I'm just like, wait, you can't forget Billy West. I can't have said John DiMaggio without saying Billy West. And it's like, you know, or Phil LaMarr. Like, Phil LaMarr is another great, like, voice actor combo. And, like, I could just go on forever. But the thing is like, for example, like Wreck-It Ralph. Where Wreck-It Ralph, you know, it's like, oh, hey, we have John C. Reilly and Sarah Silverman and, Jane Lynch and that other guy who plays Fix It Feel It, whose name I can't remember, and I just looked it up when I heard him on Bob's Burgers, and I can't remember his name now. So shame on me. But it's like, it's one of those where oh gosh, Maurice LaMarche. I love him too. Oh, I'm so sorry, Maurice LaMarche. Forgive me for not saying your name with everybody else. But anyway, so like Wreck-It Ralph like has like this star power, and is like, does John C. Reilly need to be Wreck-It Ralph? No, he doesn't. John C. Reilly does a perfectly fine job as Wreck-It Ralph. So don't get me wrong when I say that. Like, he's fine. And, you know, like, actors, I mean, he's also a character actor. So that's a little bit different. But, I mean, like, Jane Lynch basically, like, you know, not doing much with her voice. Or, you know, even, like, you know, like the Shrek example where it's like Eddie Murphy playing Donkey is like Eddie Murphy. And, you know, with these things, it is yes, that, like, these actors are good at, like, you know, projecting and stuff, but, you know, not can't necessarily throw their voice, can't like play 10 characters, or if they played 10 characters, it'd be in 10 movies where they all sounded exactly the same because it was them being them. And you know, and there's the thing, like, I guess between, you know, Guilty Spark and Ghost, is that Guilty Spark is played by a guy that I couldn't tell you who it is. And it's probably for the better, because when I listen to Guilty Spark, I don't think about the fact, well, Guilty Spark's a robot. Is he giving a good performance? Is he boring? Is he exciting? Was that line delivered more monotone because he's a robot or because he gave a bad performance? So, yeah, it's just like, by having Peter Dinklage, you're sort of making me overanalyze Peter Dinklage. And I don't need that. I don't want that. Don't give me that. And in a lot of ways, Destiny would probably be better if Peter Dinklage wasn't such a prominent character in the story. I mean, that's like, Fallout 3 was notorious for that, having, shoot, I can't remember. It's like, it's your dad in the beginning of the game is like a big actor. I don't remember which one. But it's like, he does a good job when he's on screen. And you know what? You're like, hey, that's that actor who's really important and powerful and whatever. But he goes away fast enough to where, like, he's not there the entire game. And so you're not, like, analyzing his acting the entire game. And so, yeah, like, it's something that if it does bother you, is gone before you know it. And he's also a human, so like he can like emote and stuff. So like it's harder being a robot and a famous robot. Like, don't make famous people robots. Yeah, I guess that's my lesson for the day. Like, if you were to take anything away from this kind of like long string of things I'm saying about Destiny, it should be that like don't make famous people robots. And I'll leave it at that. Like, I think that I've rambled about Destiny for like way too long. And I still feel like there's some things that I wanted to say about it, and I can't remember what those are right now. And that's okay. I will move on. So just other big things that are going on this week. Super Smash Brothers for 3DS is officially out in Japan, and that is really cool. As you know, as I'm sure is no surprise if you look at like all my videos, I am a Super Smash Brothers fanboy. Hold on, take two. I am a giant Nintendo fanboy. I love Smash Brothers. Smash Brothers is great. I love all things Nintendo, or most things Nintendo at least. I like a lot of Nintendo. I have, admittedly, I have bought 3 different 3DSs. I bought like a launch day 3DS, the blue one, and then the 3DS XL came out. And at the time, I wasn't necessarily going to buy it. I was fine with my own 3DS, but, and maybe this is a really lame excuse, but I was actually at the time playing through Kingdom Hearts, the PSP one. Shoot. Not Chain of Memories. Oh goodness, no. Birth by Sleep. Birth by Sleep, the PSP Kingdom Hearts. And the PSP, as I learned, is like, I mean, it's a cool console, even though it didn't have like a ton of games for it. It did have Birth by Sleep, and Birth by Sleep is like one of the best Kingdom Hearts games. And there was something about like that like wide screen that made that game like so nice to play. Because it's big and like it was good in my hand and it felt great, and like, you're playing it for like 30 hours or whatever. So then I finished Birth by Sleep and I started playing into Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance, which is a bad name. It is dumb, just like Birth by Sleep. Both are dumb names. Not nearly as bad as like 358 over 2 days, but they are bad names. That is besides the point. But yes, I was playing Kingdom Hearts, and I was on the 3DS, and I started to play it, and I was like, this is super uncomfortable, because I'm used to playing Kingdom Hearts with, like, my hands really far apart, and, like, having lots of, like, hand room, and, that was also, I happened to, like, pop down to the store. 3DS XL had pretty recently just come out. They had it on display. I put it in my hand. I was like, oh my gosh, this feels amazing. I need one of these because my hands can't play Kingdom Hearts on a tiny little console. And so I bought a 3DS XL. I sold my 3DS. And then, what do you know? They decided to come out with a 3DS XL that looks like Yoshi. And I'd been pretty good about not getting the 3DS XL that had the Pokemon on it, or the 3DS XL that had Legend of Zelda, or the 3DS XL that had Pikachu's face, because I almost gave in with the Pikachu face, because it was one of like the first special XLs. And but I just couldn't do it. I was like, oh my gosh, it's green and has Yoshi, and he's like got the egg trail, and the egg trails like goes onto the back of the 3DS, and like this thing is awesome. And which is really funny. Like sidebar that like despite the fact that I got this Yoshi 3DS XL on the day that it came out, or like pretty closely after it came out, I did not get Yoshi's New Island, and was kind of bummed that the game didn't come packaged in with the 3DS XL, because the Zelda one came with Link Between Worlds, and still have not played it, still have not bought it, still have not played it. Maybe eventually I will get Yoshi's New Island and it'll be great, but right now I still have not. But yeah, so I've had 3 3DSs, and I have a Wii U. Mario Kart 8, a bunch of other Wii U games. Got my Mario Kart 8 DLC. First day that you could pre-order the DLC to get the Yoshi colors and the Shy Guy colors. I've had those, and I'm like excited for like November and next May for when Mario Kart 8 will finally be like, there'll be like so many new tracks. It's crazy, and like I love it. It's great. Oh my gosh, that DLC is it was only $12. Like that's such good DLC. It feels so good. Gosh, I know I started talking about Smash Bros. I have no idea how I got. Oh, because I'm a huge Nintendo fanboy. Blah blah blah. So I guess for people in Japan that a store or two that broke Street Date with Smash Bros, which means that I stayed up really late last night because there were people on Twitch streaming the game, and I wanted to see, because like I just hate myself apparently and don't want anything to be sacred anymore. So I was watching these people play, and it turned out that like the ESRB leak was true, and the ESRB leak unfortunately showed off the entire character roster, which for better or for worse is a thing. They showed it all off. It's all there. You can see it all. Spoiler alert. If you don't want to know all about it, skip ahead in the video or shut it off. You probably already have. If you do want to know about it, well, I'm going to talk about it. If you looked at the SRB leaks, I'm not spoiling anything. Duck Hunt Dog, Bowser Jr. are real characters in the game. And Dr. Mario is back, and Dark Pit is back, and Ice Climbers are not around, and Snake is not around, and Lucas and Wolf are gone, and Ivysaur and Squirtle are gone, and like life is just really sad. But so this is one of those where like this is just a problem, I think, for me, just in the age of the internet, where it's like nothing anymore is secret. And maybe Mario Kart was right in the way that they did stuff. Because like Smash, like Sakurai hasn't revealed everything yet. It's people have revealed everything. First the leaks, and now that the actual game is out, they're revealing stuff. And so like that, to an extent, like kind of makes me a little bit upset, because when I go to play the game, like there's no surprises for me. There is nothing that will shock me in the way that like when I played Smash on the N64, that like unlocking Jigglypuff, like secret characters, I was like, whoa, what is this? I had never played like a fighting game before, back in the day, and I was like, there could be secret characters. Like there's Pikachu or Jigglypuff, and there's Luigi and Ness and Captain Falcon. Like first off, who are Ness and Captain Falcon? Second off, like this is awesome. This is really cool. And because the internet, Childish Gambino, there's not going to be that surprise. Like, I'm going to unlock Bowser Jr. I'm going to be like, oh, so that's how you unlock Bowser Jr. I'm going to unlock Duck Hunt Dog. And I'm like, oh, that's how you unlock Duck Hunt Dog. But it's not going to be a surprise to me. In the way that, like Sakurai, like, revealed everything last game. Brawl. Like, most everything. And I think that when the game came out, that the only secrets left were, like, Wolf and um, Rob, maybe. I think that one was unexpected. And like that was still really cool that like I didn't know that those were coming. Um, Even more so, like the big one for me is like Smash Brothers Melee and Mewtwo. And this was like I had more restraint back in the day, and maybe either didn't know that I could be like looking for all the Smash information, not realizing that it came out like way earlier in Japan. Um, so I didn't look for it. And when the game came out, like I didn't have like a GameCube right away when Smash came out. I got one like for Christmas that year. So Smash was out for maybe like a month or no, I didn't get it. You know what? I did not get a GameCube for Christmas. My friends got GameCubes for Christmas. I think my one friend got 2 copies of Super Smash Brothers, and I bought one off of him. And I ended up buying a GameCube on my own because I sold tons and tons and tons of Boy Scout popcorn. And I felt so good because like I was the one walking in and like I was able to afford a GameCube as like a, 11-year-old boy. And that was kind of like a really cool thing at the time, like to buy my own game console. Uh, but anyway, so yeah, like I got Smash Brothers. I was able to play it like a month or a couple months after the actual game came out. I remember like I owned Melee because I'd bought it off my friend, and like I kept it in like a drawer, and I'd like pull it out and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to play this game. Like Nintendo Power made it look so cool, and like this is gonna be awesome when I can finally play it. but but yeah, like you're playing and you're unlocking characters, and it's like, yeah, I don't know who like Arth. Oh my goodness, I don't know who like Marth and Ike are, or Marth and Roy rather. Ike was Brawl. And like, oh, Pichu's in this game. That's cool. Mr. Game and Watch. What is that? But like the big one was Mewtwo, because Mewtwo you couldn't even like unlock through any sort of like means of like playing classic mode or playing adventure mode or doing the home run contest or anything like that. Like to unlock Mewtwo, you had to play versus mode, and you had to play 1,000 matches, or you had to play for 20 hours. And like the nice thing is that at least with Mewtwo, that if you're in versus mode and you were playing with like more human players, that it like helped that timer tick down. So it wasn't 20 hours of like time in versus mode. It at the very most was 5. But with it being pretty early into like the GameCube's life cycle, I wasn't necessarily playing like 4-player Smash. I was playing with mostly by myself. And then if I had friends over, it was like maybe me and my one friend were playing Smash, or like me and 2 friends were playing Smash, until like we all had GameCubes, we all had the game, and we'd have to bring our own controllers. And so there was like something awesome about typically then also when you're by yourself, you're not playing versus mode. You're trying to unlock characters and stages by playing home run contest and smash the targets and this and that, and trying to get through adventure mode with everybody. There's something really cool about that, because like that meant that you weren't allocating as much time to versus mode, so it felt like it took a really long time to unlock Mewtwo. And you may have heard like mutterings on the playground that like, oh, Mewtwo's in Smash, but you didn't necessarily believe it until you saw it with your own eyes and you did it on your own game. Because this was also back in the time where people believed that like Tails was in Smash, and completely would just like play with your mind, and you didn't know what to believe. So like unlocking Mewtwo was like the crazy, really crazy cool. Something that you didn't think you could do, you didn't think you could ever do. But there you did it. You did it, and you did it, and you did it, and everything was like super great. And that was one thing I noticed also with these people on Twitch streaming the full version of the game, is that like the downside of this game is, like Sakurai's still hiding information, and there's still secret characters if you haven't like spoiled things for yourself. But it's like really easy to unlock characters. Like first off, they give you they give you like a ton of characters right away. Like they probably give you like to start with like more characters than Brawl even had, which to me is nuts. Uh, that like all these really cool newcomers, like you don't have to unlock any of them, and that wouldn't be like unprecedented because in Brawl they showed off Sonic the Hedgehog and they showed off Solid Snake, and you had to unlock both of those characters. I mean, yeah, granted, like every single character was unlocked through the Subspace Emissary, which is got its own pluses and minuses. Uh, but like to not have to unlock anybody, like to start the game and like you can play as like Rosalina and Little Mac and Palutena and Shulk, who is like just announced, and like Pac-Man and Mega Man and Sonic, and like Animal Crossing Villager, and like it's crazy, and that's really the thing. It's like, um, I like to, if like part of Smash is that like getting acclimated to how the new game works, playing it in single player, trying to unlock these characters in these stages, and yeah, like I want to be able to like feel like there's a little bit of challenge or a little bit of longevity to me unlocking things, and like there's one of these Japanese streamers who like in 13 hours or whatever or 12 hours or whatnot unlocked all the characters already. Like they're all out there. They got the note that said, "Hey, you have all the characters. Your all-star mode is like the full all-star mode. You have everything. There's nothing left for you to find. All the characters are here. Congratulations." And that is weird. That is not necessarily something I want. I um, I want there to be like a little bit of a challenge or like a mystique to like me unlocking something like Duck Hunt Dog. That should be like one of the last things I figure out. One thing that I find extremely funny about this game, and I love it, like this is great, because Sakurai is known to be like a huge troll sometimes, is that in like the original Smash Brothers and in Melee and in Brawl, it was like you sneezed and you unlocked Jigglypuff. Like you played through, classic mode, and the very first thing you did, like didn't matter who you played as, you just played classic mode once and you had Jigglypuff. And like Sakurai hasn't announced that Jigglypuff's like in the game yet. And Sakurai also, or if he made this choice or if somebody else did, like from me looking at streams last night, it's like people did not have Jigglypuff. People had a vast majority of the characters. They had like Lucina's like unlockable, Wario's unlockable, Duck Hunt Dog's unlockable, Bowser Jr.'s unlockable. I think Ganondorf may or may not have to be unlocked. I think Falco has to be unlocked. But and then obviously, yeah, like Dr. Mario has to be unlocked, Dark Pit has to be unlocked. But like they didn't have Jigglypuff. Like they had like a ton of characters, but Jigglypuff was nowhere to be seen. And I think that that's really funny because to not reveal that you have Jigglypuff, and then when people play Smash and like the first thing they do, like they don't get Jigglypuff, they start to worry, and that is hilarious. That is really funny, and I give so many props to Sakurai for doing that. Like it's great. Like please do. I know you've said that like you've said it like 8 times over that like you're done with Smash, that like the Melee came out and you're like, yeah, I guess I'll do Melee and then I'll be done, and then like you came back for Brawl. Like they made you like a company and like a special team to do Brawl and then also to do Kid Icarus after that. Like they love you. But like you're like, yeah, I'll do Brawl, whatever, and then I'm done. Like I'm done. No more Smash for me. And then you do 2 Smash games. Like you do 3DS and Wii U, mainly because Wii U's hurting really bad, and I think that 3DS is doing very well, and the hardware is finally like good enough to probably have like a decent Smash game on. And there's something interestingly cool about the idea of like portable Smash, and yeah. So I mean, like if you're actually like if you're normal, like if it's par for the course, we're like, oh, I'm done with Smash now. Smash 4 was the end. Um, and like, but you do come back. Like if you do again, because you always do, continue this legacy. Like continue to troll people. I love it. It's great. One thing that is not a good troll is ice climbers. Like, I find it very weird to have characters that were around, like, you know, a big part of Melee and a big part of Brawl and, like, weren't clones to be gone. That's really weird. I understand when you take away, like, Roy and Dr. Mario and Pichu and Mewtwo was a weird one, too, because Mewtwo... I guess like Lucario is like 75-80% Mewtwo, but like still not the same. Like I can sort of understand those cuts, and like going into Brawl and going into Smash 4, I get why you'd cut Snake, even though he's an original character, because Snake doesn't entirely perfectly fit into Smash. I thought you did a very good, or I'm not really talking to Sakurai. Sakurai, you're not listening to this. You don't speak fluent English, and you don't listen to Larry's, who you certainly don't listen to him for over an hour when they don't have anything particularly interesting to say. But Sakurai is, I can see why that Snake would get cut. I can understand that entirely, and I can understand why like Wolf would get cut. Because yes, like Wolf played differently than Fox and Falco, but Wolf was like the third iteration of the same character. And I can see why, I can see why Squirtle and Ivysaur would get cut, because like I preferred Ivysaur the best of the three of them, but getting rid of Pokemon Trainer, bringing in Charizard, and then like not wanting to have like 7 Pokemon reps, would that be with them? Because Pikachu and Charizard and Lucario and I almost said Mewtwo, and Greninja and Jigglypuff is 5. Yeah, I'd be like 7, and like you don't want like 7 Pokemon. I get it, and you don't want 8 either because you didn't have Mewtwo. But like, it's really weird to cut somebody like Ice Climbers, where their moveset wasn't like transferred onto anybody, and they like were pretty uniquely individual. And you cut them, and you bring in Dr. Mario, and you bring in Dark Pit. And so I'll sort of, as much as I really hate to do this, I will defend them to a very very small degree. That what I do like about the addition of these two characters, I still think they're dumb. That's not what I like about them. I do think that they're dumb, but there is something very nice, and that is that like Dr. Mario is Mario, yes, and he is a Mario clone, yes, but Dr. Mario wonderfully does have his own Final Smash, and Dr. Mario does play like Mario, but Dr. Mario plays like Mario, or specifically like Dr. Mario himself, as he played in Super Smash Bros. Melee, which means that primarily more than anything, if you did not like when they added the Flood to Mario, you can play Dr. Mario. And I have a feeling that Mario players, more likely than not, will be going to Dr. Mario because they don't want to play with the Flood. Because the Flood's kind of dumb. It is a dumb addition. They didn't utilize it very well. See, now what's kind of disappointing is that like by doing this though, and like having Dr. Mario have this classic Mario moveset, that you could have really like taken the Flood and done something like really cool with it. Like make Mario's moveset like 90% Flood related. Like make it Mario and Flood, and give him like all this cool stuff you can do. And that'd be really neat. Like to take a character and like totally turn it on its head, and then be like, don't worry, we do have a secret unlockable character that is Mario. And like that's fine. And like Dark Pit is the same way. Where Dark Pit is like, that's like, just sounds dumb. I know I haven't played Kid Icarus Uprising. Like, I own it. It's another game that's in like my giant pile of games I haven't played. I guess the Dark Pit is like a character from Kid Icarus Uprising, and also hilariously in Japan is translation is like literally like colored pit, which is weird. But because Pit has color, like he's a boy, he's not like monochromatic. In fact, Dark Pit's probably more monochromatic than Pit is. Oh, one's black, one's white, whatever. Dark Pit is, even at like a base level, without having played the story, it sounds like if they are doing some story thing in Kid Icarus Uprising to make Dark Pit make sense, it's still dumb. Like, dark character you already have, it's like a weird thing. Like, make an original character. Like, don't make, like, if I were to have an enemy, I'd want him to like have some opposite traits of me, like to be like, you know, really buff and like really tall and you know, good looking, and you know, the kind of guy that could like punch me into like next week without really trying, and like steal my girlfriend and have her like swoon over him because he's like so much more manly than I am, because I'm just kind of like wimpy and not very brave or not very strong. But it's like, if my alter like if my alter ego, my enemy, like if my bad version of me was like, here's Larry, and he constantly, he wears like a black bandana with a skull on it, and he has red eyes despite not being albino, and he wears like black jeans, like black skinny jeans all the time, and you called him Dark Larry. Like, that'd be dumb. That'd be like a really stupid and dumb alter ego to have, and I wouldn't want it. And so no matter how you justify it, having a character like Dark Pit in your game is dumb, and bringing him into Smash is in theory dumb. What I do like, what I do in fact like though, is that Dark Pit was brought in because he plays like Pit in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, and that's because Pit had like a couple major move changes in Smash 4. I think basically like the majority of his B moves are changed. Like, I know that his like B up is different. Like, he doesn't like fly around the course anymore, and his like B down is something weird, and his like B sideways is something else. And like, so that's cool that they actually did something where they brought in a character to that sort of is like, hey, we understand that some of you may not like the new changes and may like Pit as he was in Brawl. So here is a new Pit that plays like old Pit, and he's Dark Pit. So you're welcome. And it's like, that's a nice change, and I'm glad that it's not like everybody like who had like any moves has like an alteration of them where they have like their old self. Like Olimar, I think it's one of those like Pikmin protagonists is like one of his alt costumes, and it's like they didn't make him a separate character that plays like old Olimar. They just gave him Olimar's new moveset, and you don't have a choice to have the old moveset with its like 3 Pikmin only, and always like no random, and like no Pikmin chain as a B up move. That's dumb. You get what you get, and so like those are sort of like justifiable clones, I guess. Like, as much as I hate to admit it, and then like Lucina is kind of the backwards one, where Lucina is really cool because it's great to have like a female Fire Emblem character in there. That's great. I like that. It's kind of disappointing that she's just a clone of Marth, considering that like in Melee we had a clone of Marth and it was Roy, and now we have another clone of Marth and it's Lucina, and we weren't clamoring for like a clone character. We wanted a character with like a new moveset, and that's why I like that like female Robin is in the game. Like, we get female Fire Emblem protagonists with like her own moveset, just like Robin, male Robin, has his like own moveset, which I mean they have the same moveset, but like they're completely original and they play differently than any other Fire Emblem character has so far in this game. And like you already have Ike, and Ike I understand plays very differently than Marth, but to some degree they play similarly just by being like swordsmen and being like so heavily swordsman. So yeah, like you have your like sort of halfway clone already, or like somebody who took liberties with Marth and made a new character that's like really heavy but moves fast. And so to have like Lucina is weird because like they didn't change Marth's moveset up, so why give him a like clone of his old moveset? I don't like that. But yeah, Bowser Jr. is super cool. Bowser Jr. and Duck Hunt and Dog are awesome. I love them both. They're great. Like Bowser Jr. in the Koopa Clown Car. Ooh, who would have thought that? Who woulda coulda saw that coming? Him just like that's so cool. Like everyone would have expected that they would have had like Bowser Jr. in like his like Mario Sunshine stuff where he like runs around with the giant paintbrush and like makes poisons on things. And I'm glad they didn't do that. Like the to have a character like inside of a vehicle is such a cool idea. And then to be like, hey, we understand you may hate Bowser Jr. because he's not the Koopalings, and then give you the Koopalings as all of his alternate costumes. Like they didn't have to do that, and that's so cool because that means that I can now not just play as Larry in Mario Kart, I can play as Larry in Smash Bros. And that is something that like I love, and I might try to just play Larry in Smash Bros. And hope that I love him. Hopefully, I don't know. I might not. I might hate him, but I could maybe love him. You never know. It's like I never expected after like really playing as Samus a lot in Melee to go to Donkey or not Donkey Kong. Goodness, no. To go to Diddy Kong and Brawl. Would have never expected it. And like I'd love to play a new different character in Smash 4. Like I love playing new characters. It's fun. Changes the game up. And I mean, yeah, I'm just really excited about this game. Like Smash Brothers, oh, yes. The Wii U is a good console, and there's great games on it, but nothing gets better than Smash. You can't. That is your system seller, and if Smash doesn't do well, well then I'm like really worried about the future of like the Wii U. We'll get new Zelda, that'll be good, but man, like, gosh, I'm so excited to play Smash. So excited to play Smash, like unbelievably so. And I could just talk about it forever. Like I basically already did. There's like, this is so weird. I find it like super funny because like I said, I had like really bad technical difficulties the first time I tried to do this talking thing forever. And I basically had to give up at about like 45 minutes. And in 45 minutes, I had introduced, the concept. I talked about Destiny and I talked about Super Smash Brothers. And I guess that I started to get really frustrated when I was having like technical problems and trying to work through them and see if I could like cover it up. And I basically in that time had like talked about those two things and had talked about Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, and just a little bit because like I'm playing that game too. It's really good. I like it a lot. I love Professor Layton. Love Phoenix Wright. And like I was getting really worried because I didn't know what I was gonna move on to. I didn't know how I could possibly... Oh, who just bumped the mic, sorry. Didn't know how I could like fill up a lot more time because I was like only halfway through and I like covered like the two major topics I wanted to talk about. And plus Professor Layton. And so I gave up and then I came back. And now I'm an hour and 22 minutes in and I have talked about... Which let me say then... means that I have like 3 minutes left before I have to cut myself off, or else this is gonna get like way too long and way too rambly. And I talked about only Destiny and only Smash, and that like makes me really happy, because I guess that means that I did a better job this time around, or that I'm more rambly. I don't know. But yeah, now that I've totally jinxed it, because I have Um, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I like totally just drew blank. My mind just went pew, and I got nothing else to talk about. Yeah, I guess like the last thing I'll say, just while I like have your attention, I probably don't have your attention by this point in time, is that like uh, a few weeks ago, I did a video about ice climbers, the ice climbers leak, which unfortunately they didn't make it back into the game, which is like then makes the video even more like oddly specifically relevant now than it may have ever been, and like the video did really well. Um, that video was it's been seen like by like 27,000 people, or at least view count. It's not 27,000 people, it's just like 27,000 views, and like I'm really in a weird way like very humbled by that. Like I this channel doesn't do like super well. Like the best video I ever had was like 2,000 views, and so to have like a video that has like considerably more views than like every single other video on my channel combined is pretty crazy. And like I want to continue to like do that, like that the idea where now like I've kind of got those 3 videos, that and like this new Destiny one and then the old like Mario Kart one, all under like this one moniker that I'm just calling like Game Trailer Remix, where I'm basically just like taking game trailers and screwing around with them. Yeah, like I want to do more of this because it seems like you guys like it, and so like if you have subscribed because of that video, or you shared that video, or you found me, like thank you for sharing it, or if you like stuck around this long into this video, like thank you for sticking around this long, because no person on the internet should listen to me talk for an hour and a half. That's just really weird. Don't do it, or continue to like listen to me in smaller chunks when I'm not rambling on for a million years over some joke. Sure, to make a dumb joke more interesting by not just having like all of this time be complete dead air. And I mean, I assume that this is slightly more interesting than that. So hopefully you find that it was. Oh, man, whoa. So I'm sorry. It is really hot in this closet. I need to just come out of the closet. There we go. Made the joke again. You can't do it because I made it twice. But I would say that I got nothing else to say. Just thanks for always watching videos, being a subscriber, sharing videos, being, palling around, leaving comments. I appreciate it. I like you. Hope you like me. Hope we continue to like each other. And until next time, that's all I gotta say. So I'm gonna go ahead and like let this video actually like end now. So yeah, that's it. Bye.